Hi, everybody. Welcome to the More Gems Show. I'm Steve Moriarty, your host, and with me tonight are my two sons, Michael, who's in charge of this production. Hi, Mike.
Hey, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming and back for another show. So
It's been a while.
it has. We've been off for a couple months. And also with us tonight is my brother Jeff. What's up, Jeffrey?
How are we doing? Yeah, it's been, I feel like it's been forever. But it's been, 2 months?
Yeah, 2 months because we skipped June.
We did, yes. And for everybody that's normally watches us, thanks for coming back. I know we got a lot of new people tonight. And we talk about not being back for a while because we normally do these each month.
Right.
And so July,
We had
Michael and
vacation.
Steve, they get tired of cutting and they need a little break.
That's all I did all the last 2 months is cut. So, which you're going to see quite a few of it.
Yeah. Steve
And I cut a few this month as well.
Michael
So there'll be a few
busy.
from me. I actually finally got down to getting I don't know, I think I got about 4 cut for this show. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, you'll
Awesome.
see that.
How many stones do you cut now, Mike?
Over 20.
Over 20. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I was kind of looking back at my notes, and I'm sure it's been more than that over the years, but recently, yeah, I mean, 20
So you're
years.
almost up to Steve.
Yeah,
Close.
close.
No, that's great. Yeah. So, so thanks for watching, everybody. I mean, Steve, you got some really cool stones tonight as well. I think I got a sneak peek of a few of them. I think when you were cutting some, you were telling me about. So, you want to start for? I guess we can talk about the show, how it goes.
Yeah. Why don't you tell them kind of how everything works with the coupon codes, if they don't need coupon codes, where to buy these stones, and things like that.
Yeah. So.
I guess I should turn my phone.
So, you're on YouTube right now. So, first of all, you watching YouTube, there is a chat function along with YouTube. Sometimes you have to be logged in to be part of it. But I urge you to sign in and chat in there. We got a lively chat. We got a lot of people. We got some Tracy from Wisconsin. We got Amber from Indiana. We got Beverly from Texas. We got Denise from Wisconsin. We got Dad Rocks. I think he was from Texas as well. We got Tom from New Jersey, and we got Stacy from Buffalo. So a lot of people chiming in. So definitely go in there. It helps because, as we're showing some amazing stones tonight, you may have questions about things. And the easiest way to get your question answered on the show is to just post it in chat. I'll be watching it the whole time. I'll cut in and ask Steve or Michael if you have questions and they can answer it. Maybe you want to see the stone again. Maybe you want to see the stone on the finger. Maybe you want to see the stone on the neck. Whatever it may be, we're here to answer those questions for you. So make sure to log in and get on that chat. All night we're going to be showing the stones. They're going to be, most of them are going to be 15% off. So, we'll add a link. You can go to MoreGems.com. There's a green banner at the top of the page. Click on it. You're going to see all the stones tonight. If you like any of them, click on it, add it to cart. There's going to be automatic 15% off taken off that price. And you can pay with credit card. You can pay with PayPal. We even have financing through a firm. Some specials going on tonight. There are going to be some hidden stones. Now, these stones we don't release until we start talking about them. And they're 25% off with coupon code RARE25. The reason we do this is because a lot of people, before we even show the stone, like to purchase them. You know who you are. I know you're out there.
And that's okay.
That's all right. You do whatever you want, yes. But if you do like a stone out there and you really love it, even before we talk about it, I would try to add it to your cart and purchase it because each stone there's only one. And almost all of them were cut by Steve and Michael. So they're very rare, exclusive. So pick it up and it's yours. We have 30-day returns on all stones. And as well, we do almost all our work is custom design. So we'd love to design something around these gemstones for you, which you'll learn more about in the show. So hopefully that answers a lot of your questions. Again, make sure to chime in on chat if you have questions. Steve, take it away with how it works with your stone
All right.
pricing.
You talked about layaway too. I missed it.
Oh, well, yeah, there is layaway as well. But so if you want to do a hold or a layaway, we only can accept them tomorrow. So problem is we can't hold any stones, so that could be gone by tomorrow. So, but it is available, and you can give us a call tomorrow if the stone's still available.
Yeah, and it's up to 6 months on layaway.
Yep.
So glad to help you out there. So you're going to see some prices online. There's going to be an appraised price and our regular price. So the appraised price is based on this gem guide, which is a market-driven independent pricing guide. These guys go around to the major trade shows and shop the wholesale gems and get prices that are asked at the shows. And then they create this pricing guide, which really is pretty in-depth and really goes into a lot of different stones. A couple things I was surprised to see. I think Dementoid Garnet was in here, and Rainbow Moonstone, and some very unusual stones. So they give us a wholesale price and then a recommended markup, and that's what the basis for our appraised price that you're going to see online is. So there'll be the appraised price and our regular price, and then of course tonight all the gems are 15% off. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, one more thing. Whoa.
Okay. Whoa.
My color is a little off. But anyways, so a new thing we put on here was some background music. A friend of the show, Fred, we were talking, and he mentioned, having something kind of in the background because we added these new noise gates. So I added that, but if it sounds a little overpowering or our audio is a little off, just let me know, and I'll keep an eye out for that, and I'll try and fix the color of my camera too. But yeah, I think we're ready to go.
All right. So let's start with the first gem. And this is a tanzanite that I recently cut. Weighs 23.20 carat and just a beautiful trilliant. This is, I think we cut a step trilliant, which is our go-to trilliant. I do a lot of step cuts, and I'm really amazed that more people in the trade don't use step cuts. There's a lot of benefits, good yield, and just remarkable brilliance from them. Overseas, they'll cut a Portuguese cut, which is a little like a step cut, but they mix it with a brilliant style crown. But I think this full step cut just produces a lot better brilliance. So this 23.20 carat tanzanite, it is heated, of course. The appraised value is $27,900. Our price online is $15,990. And with the 15 off, it is $13,592, which comes out to $586 a carat. See in the pictures, a little smudge on there. You don't get that. It'll wipe off. But just beautiful brilliance in this stone. Great color. Nice red flash out of it. Just really has everything going for it. Really high quality rating on 990 out of 1,000. Stone cloth. Really beautiful gem. It has VS1 clarity, so VS1 is the highest grading I do. It's very difficult to grade above that. You'd have to spend a half hour on a stone just to verify that it's VS1. Particularly these darker stones, you'd have a hard time finding anything really, really small. When you get into VVS and flawless, that's a pretty bold statement to say something is flawless. So we just quit at VS1 because you'll never see it with the naked eye. Very difficult even under a scope if it were truly a VS1. So this could be flawless, but we'll say it's at least VS1. In the hand. So, could be a ring. Nice size for a pendant. Beautiful stone. You know, we got this material in Hong Kong when we were there. All right, and up next, really lovely tourmaline. So we had a sale.
Yeah,
Something we've shown, or somebody jumping ahead?
Yeah, people jumping ahead.
That's
So this will give a good idea of how this show goes tonight. So if you place a sale, we're going to give you a shout out as well. So we got quite a few. So this kind of proves that a lot of people do go ahead and purchase beforehand. Again, we have 30-day returns, so there's no problems there. Chris picked up the Brilliant Style Emerald Cut Violet Tanzanite 3.42 carat. That looks like a cool
nice
colored stone there. Yeah, definitely let us know if you're going to decide to do a pendant.
Yeah, that's a new cut that I've developed. I used to do Barian style emerald cuts. This is a variation of it, but it's just a cut that I think it works very well. I've cut Barians for 40 years now, and this is my final version of what I think a Barian should do, because this particular style, particularly on the ends, makes the ends very, very brilliant as well as the rest of the stone. So it's probably my final decision on how to cut an emerald cut brilliant tanzanite or any stone.
All right. You got a new cut there.
Yeah. So.
Congrats. Eileen came in and she picked up the Spessartite Garnet, one of my favorite stones. 2.2 carats.
Cool.
Yeah.
And of course, as always, you'll find that they look so much better than what they photograph. I don't put these Spessartites on very often because everything shows up, and they're absolutely the worst as far as showing the character that they really aren't. Because when you see this on your hand, all that's in there will pretty much disappear. I mean, it's not, they're still going to show some of it, but it just is very bright, and they just don't photograph well. You done? Okay. I can move on.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks. All right. This one, tourmaline. They're really, really a beautiful tourmaline. And I kind of pushed it to be a Portuguese cut just because Portuguese cuts show stones so well. I mean, the brilliance of them, and they show well and they sell well. So it probably could have been another carat and a half if I'd have cut it as an odd shape. But, I just went for the Portuguese because I knew it'd be a beautiful, beautiful gem. It's kind of a mix of blue and green. It's a little more blue than what is showing, at least on my monitor right now, a little more like what's online. We have a limit to being able to change how the colors are. When we photograph in the shop or in the studio, we can adjust the pictures, take some time to adjust, but we can't do that while we're doing this show, so we're kind of stuck within a few settings of what we can do with the pictures. So, but it's beautiful either color, but the little more blue really adds a lot to the quality of this stone. I will find out where this is from. I believe it's Nigeria. It's possible it's Mozambique, but I've got the note here somewhere. I just kind of misplaced it. But wherever it's from, it's a beautiful stone. Probably heat treated, and I don't have that information for sure either. But a lot of the new material is not heat treated, whereas before, almost anything green you could have just said, it's heat treated. But there's a lot of sources, including Nigeria and Congo, that have produced a lot of colors that require no heat treatment because they were lighter. They come out of the ground lighter color. The heat treatment is typically because the stone's overly dark, and when you heat it, it lightens up. So I'll try and find all that information. Somebody buys this stone and give you the information that I have.
I've seen you cut the peridot in the Portuguese cut. Have you done a tourmaline? I don't know. I haven't seen.
Well, because they're so pleochroic, I mean, the colors in one direction down the C-axis is often, in this case, the C-axis would be the more greener color, more yellowy green, and the blue-green would be the AB axis. And often the C-axis is very, very dark and just leaves the stone overly dark. But this was open. We call it open color, meaning there's no dark axis to the stone. Some tourmalines, you look down the C-axis, it's black. So you typically cut a stone that on that axis that the facets you cut are very steep, so they don't reflect into the stone. But in this case, it was an open color, so you can cut this kind of cut and get this kind of brilliance.
Yeah. And just for all the new people out there that are like, who the hell is Steve Moriarty? A lot of the people that are watch the show every week know who you are. But a lot of these stones, especially the Portuguese cut, have gone viral on Reddit quite a few times, and you are huge on Reddit, but and you got gem cutting show, the videos on how to cut stones and everything, but just a quick I guess a little summary about your history with in gems and how long you've been cutting and everything.
Well, go ahead.
Well, I know you've been cutting since I was little, so it has to be at least
I've been cutting since the early 80s, 1980s, that is.
I'll say at least 40 years.
Yes. Or is it? Yeah. I've been in the business for 50 years. 75 I started, and I started cutting in the early 80s, and continued to this date, and probably cut 5,000 stones. I have no idea. And that's something that we talked about early this year, that I kind of challenged myself as far as trying to cut $1 million worth of gems, which I thought was really way out of bounds after I said that. And even today I'm going, well, maybe I should have said $500,000. But I did the totals.
Where are we at?
And currently we're 6 months in, and I'm at $431,458.
All right.
So it's well on the way to $500,000. And if I do have some big tanzanites to cut, that would help because they're going to have $100,000 value.
Oh, wow.
So it's possible. Although after this month, I'm kind of worn out cutting, but we'll see if we can make that by January.
Okay.
So it's possible. So
all right.
But
Excellent.
back to this tourmaline.
Yep.
Is that what you want to know?
I did.
I don't know what
just
else
to give
talk
everybody an
about me
idea
cutting.
of who you are and your experience in cutting. So, all right, back to the tourmaline.
Okay. This tourmaline weighs 5.13 carats. A praise value of $3,740. The retail on our site is $2,050, and with the 15% off, it's $743 or $340 a carat. It's really a beauty.
Hey, we got a friend on the chat. Bigelow's here.
Hey, Matt.
Everybody say what's up to Bigelow.
Yeah, Matt traveled with me to Tanzania back 2014. Yeah, he's great photographer. Yeah. All right, did I get through that? I think I did. All right. Oh, we have a sale.
Yes. And I don't know how he did it. Phil purchased the, first of all, the Dematoid Garnet, which we sold those like crazy last week.
Nice.
But Phil is at a Teddy Swims concert right now. So somehow he is able to pull this off.
Phil, is it? That's crazy.
Yeah. So
we're not charging him to come here either.
Yeah. So he's very good at multitasking. So congrats, Phil. Cool stone.
Okay, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
What did he get? Demantoid?
The emerald cut demantoid garnet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and demantoids, I've never had them before. Literally. Small stones, but carat-sized stones, they're just so rare that it's been difficult to get. And usually the price is so extraordinarily high that I've just had difficulty buying them. But ran into a new supplier out of Namibia, and I got, I think, 7 stones. And but cool to have. We use them as accent stones, some material that comes out of Madagascar, but haven't been able to get stones of size before. All right, next stone up. This is one that Michael cut, and he did a pretty, I don't know, did you stick to my style? I think you did mostly.
Yeah.
This is like the one that sold.
Right. It has that same style, brilliant style pavilion, and then step cut crown. So yeah, it's pretty similar. But yeah, this one was a little bit of a challenge just because of the inclusions we were running into. But I think we got most of them out. I think there might be one, like
really
a
small
crystal in the corner of it. But yeah, pretty small.
Still graded VS1.
Yeah, pretty stone.
I can't believe you cut that, huh? No, I thought Dad did.
And if you look at it, you can see what I'm talking about, the ends of the stone. That's where I had problems with the standard Berrien cut style. The ends just were not very lively. So that was the biggest change in this stone, that gives you that life in the ends. So just completely brilliant. So this is a 2.09 carat cut by Michael. It is 40% blue, 60% violet. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the grading system, I use it, something I've developed. Nobody else uses it. So I try and give you an idea of what percentage of the two colors, because all of them vary. Some of them are more blue, some of them are violet, and I try to give you an approximation of what the color mix in the stone is. So this is not quite half and half, but has both colors. And, tanzanite in daylight will be more blue, and incandescent lighting's going to be more violet. My final grading is typically done going outside and seeing what the primary color is when you get into daylight. This one rates a 950 out of 1,000. Again, this is part of my grading system using color, the cut, and the clarity of the stone. Recently, I've changed my system a little bit. I've given a little more percentage of the quality in the color, which is probably where it should be. So when I used to do 3 different sections, being the clarity, the cut, and the color, now it's color, clarity, and cut. So I give a higher percentage of this grading is with the color, and I think it's a more accurate way of grading in my system.
And why? Can you explain? Because we track a lot of things online, and a lot of people are looking for like AA, AAA, quadruple A. Why this is a better system for tanzanite than that.
Well, it became, to me, it became useless, because what was AAA was the highest rating. Now people have 4A, 5A, and it's all in the grading of the person, whether he can be accurate. And I don't claim that I'm accurate, but I do claim that I look further into the quality of the stone. I literally grade the color, the cut, and the clarity as separate things, Whereas AAA typically was talking about the color. It wasn't even doing anything with the cut or the clarity of the stone. They were only really talking about color. So I try and give you a much more broader look at the quality of what the stone is. I think this thing of making the color more important, which I just did recently, is an improvement on my grading system, because color is the most important thing. The clarity and the cutting quality are extremely important, but color is more important. But it's not 100% of it, which what AAA did was give color 100% of what they were grading.
So now then, would color be skewed by size? Because, the deeper colors are always going to be the larger stones.
Yeah.
So,
which I take that in consideration. When I look at a small stone, if it's got extremely good color or but it's not like a 30 karat stone, but I know that what the possibility for a 2 karat size compared to a possibility of a 10 karat size, and try and take that into consideration in the grading. I don't overly skew it, but I do skew it a little bit with size, because you can't get what you can see in a 20 karat, the color in a 2 karat stone. It just is almost non-existent that they can be equal on the high end. It does happen, but
that one stone we found in Kenya.
You can get small stones that are extremely fine color, but overall, the smaller the stone, the lesser the color. So it is something I do take in consideration. So this stone, 2 karat, 2.09 carat, 1680 is the appraised price. $900 is our retail online. $765 is the price with 15% off. So it's $366 a carat. It's a really nice stone for really a low price. Good job, Michael.
Yeah, great job. I think I always think about Eileen, how she picked up your first stone. I think she picked up your first stone. Yeah, I think she bought it.
I think so too, yeah.
Let's see. There was a question here. Hi, last month you mentioned that you had a few more Madagascar moonstones to cut. Have you started working on those at all?
Yes, I've started working on them with no success. They are very, very difficult. I've talked to friends and I've tried to cut it, and I'm just not having success. These
are the faceted ones,
they
correct?
They have a cleavage plane that, if you get close to it, they just flake up. And I have not, to this time, figured out how to fix that. There are several stones I've had issues with. Rhodonite is another one. I have beautiful rhodonite rough, and it is a problem, fracturing and, and cleavage. It's just been a nightmare, and, after a while you get sick of dealing with those nightmares. So I'm going to see if I can find somebody that really has the ability to cut it, and, maybe they're using something different than I am. But to this point, I've had no success. Hopefully we can find more. Our next trip, hopefully the material out of Madagascar is still available, because it really is extraordinary material, and I would love to own a lot of it. Just don't want to cut a lot of it.
All right, thanks. Hope that answers your question. And everybody still, if you logged into YouTube chat, you can post any questions that you want or chat with other people there. And I'll cut in and ask Steve any questions you have. You want to see the stone again, you want to see it on a finger, on a neck, just let us know.
All right, so last month in our show, we showed this stone, which didn't sell. Let me get the spots off it. And we talked about it, and we decided that we were going to have Chris be on the show with us tonight and actually design a piece of jewelry for this stone while we watch. Kind of. We'll break into what he's doing and show you the progress during the night. So this is a stone that we've given him the challenge to make this piece tonight. We're not going to get through the entire piece, but hopefully we'll get to the point where he can produce a wax and show us the final design for this piece, and then maybe next show we'll show you the finished piece. So take it away there, Chris. Let us see what you're doing.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris Moriarty. I'm one of the designers here at MoreGems.com. I specialize in making mountings for the unique stones Steve cuts and sells here on the show. So if you do happen to purchase something tonight, I will be the one that will be working with you, me and Alice actually. So tonight I've been challenged to create a custom pendant for this tanzanite that was featured on the last show. I have no idea what I'm going to do, and I have to be done with it by the end of the show. So I plan on having renders for you to see and possibly a 3D printed model. So check back in a little while and see our progress.
All right, Chris, good luck. Get to work. Our next stone up is a Montana Sapphire. You know, this one came out nice. These Montana Sapphires have been somewhat challenging. You know, I'll get one or two good ones, and I'll get one or two that are just so-so. But this one came out really nice. The color's beautiful. Clarity is very high. You know, that's one of the issues I've had with this material out of Montana, is just can be hazy looking, or they're just come out included, or this one just came out great color and really a high clarity stone. So it's just very pretty blue-green. This one is, I cut a Portuguese pavilion and a step-cut crown, I think is it on this, or Portuguese. Not sure. I think it's a Portuguese cut crown too. But anyway, whatever. It came out just a beautiful gem. And this weighs 1.81 carats, comes from Rock Creek. There's a couple areas of mining. Rock Creek is one. And then, of course, El Dorado Bar. What's that, Mike? Phillipsburg. Oh, that's where Rock Creek is. Yeah, it's probably our El Dorado Bar. Hour and a half. You know, there's two major mining concessions there. One is open to the public. This one's not. But this stone, I'm very happy with this gem. Now, the appraised price on this one is $3,920. Our price online, $2,690. With the 15 off, it's $2,287 or $1,264 a carat. And it is a Portuguese style crown, unlike the tourmaline, which has 5 rows of facets on top. This one really was only room to put 3, you know, and I think also 3 on the pavilion. So it's 3/5 of full Portuguese, but this is Portuguese style.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
A new faceter, John, he was wondering whether you've posted your emerald cut design, the one we did on the tanzanites, anywhere, or do you have any exclusive? No.
And we'll see whether I do or not.
All right.
Yeah. You know, I'm pretty free with information, but it took me so long to develop it. But I'm not sure. You could buy one and figure it out. We'll see. Yeah. It's feel a little protective of it at the moment. So Here's the sapphire. It really is a beauty. You talk about a great engagement. Would be remarkable because it's just lively, not too dark, really clean and really well cut. Oh, sir. Just full of life. And Montana Sapphire has just been very, very popular, and they typically bring as much money as almost any other source in the world, because Montana is just really just high popularity at this time. And kind of unique colors, kind of what people are after these days. Now we had a sale.
Yep, I got to catch up here. All right. So we got Jim. He skipped ahead, which you can do your heart's desire. At Heart's Desire. He picked up the heart-shaped cabochon cut amylite.
Oh, cool.
20 carats.
I'm not even sure where that one turned up. When did we go to Lethbridge? 3 years ago. So this is a stone from 3 years ago, and it just shows up. Sometimes we have stuff put away for people, and it comes back. But I saw this, and I go, where the heck did that come from? Just such beautiful colors. This is like one of the highest grades they have. They're based on the cracking of the material, how even the surface of this material is, because these are shells that were crushed under, I don't know how many feet. Where they're mining, it's maybe 100 foot deep, but how deep that was originally before all that eroded, so they're typically not as clean as this. So this is one of their highest grades, and to get that many colors in an amylite is kind of unusual. If you look at what we've got, most of it's blue-greens, to get to the reds and the blues and the yellows and the greens all in one piece of amylite is kind of unusual.
Okay, don't stop. Wait, hold on. Trying to do another one here. All right. Vicky, she picked up, I think I saw you holding this earlier before the show. This was a cool one. It's that fancy cut tapered barian tanzanite, 3.45 carat. It's got a really cool shape to it. Like a greenish yellow.
Oh, the green one?
I think.
Oh, probably
3.5 carat?
Yeah,
that one. That one's cool.
Huh. Yeah, really rare color. We got.
That was coming up soon.
Yeah, a small parcel of this. They hit a small pocket, and Steve picked up a nice parcel and has been cutting them sporadically. So these are really rare stones. So nice buy.
Because when we were in Tanzania, they said all that material had disappeared. Which was a year and a half ago now, or I lose track of timing. But there just wasn't any of that material, and fortunately, I'd picked up a nice parcel, and I'll be cutting it for a couple of years yet. So unique stuff, and high on the rarity list for all gems.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
All right, keep buying. The show will be short. Okay, what's up next? I lost track. Okay, that was the pin. All right. Another stone Michael cut, and this is really a beautiful cut.
Thank you. And I gotta say, right now, these Trilliant step cuts are definitely my favorite. They're just
just look at the brilliance.
Extreme brilliance to it, and
again,
with these amethyst material,
yeah,
it's pretty amazing.
Too bad it wasn't bigger, because the labor to price ratio is not particularly good on this size amethyst, because he's probably got 6 hours in it.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah,
I would say around that for sure.
Maybe 7.
Yeah.
So you really need to be cutting 20 characters to make any money on it.
But it's I'm still in my practicing phases,
Yeah.
getting, used to the machine, the feel, how the polishing works.
Yeah, it's good training.
Yeah, and I've got the material. We bought kilos of this when it came out, and this is just top quality amethyst. So this was one of the smaller pieces. I do have larger rough, which we'll be cutting in the future, but I wanted to cut, another trillion because I just liked it. So here it is.
Yep. And the cutting Michael does is generally better than what I'm doing currently. I am cutting a little quicker, and he is just very, very particular. I mean, there's things I cut that I do get perfect, but if you judge my cutting against Michael's, he's probably a little more perfect. And I don't know.
I don't know about that. I mean,
Well,
I
just
tried,
look
but
at, you do really, really good quality. I mean, I'm proud of what he does, and he's following the tradition of our cutting, which is superior. We do cut. I mean, I have a hard time buying anything overseas that's cut with the quality that we cut. Next trip to Thailand, which is our planned next trip, it's something I'm looking for because I've seen some cutting out of Thailand that has been very close to the quality that we do, and that's what I'd like to find is some cutters that are using high quality equipment like we have, and just spending the time to cut it right.
That was the wrong button. But speaking of cutting, we do get questions about this quite a bit. So what machine do you currently, just talk about the machine that you currently use. I know we talk about it during the show, but we do have a lot of fasters that watch this show and want to know what you cut with.
Yeah, I have a couple of machines, but I have one at home, and what I have here is the Ultratech V5, which is what I primarily use, and it's what I recommend for cutters. The quality that this machine produces is second to none. And the big advantage is every other machine I own, I've got several down in the basement, and I've got my brother's old machine down in the basement. And, the problem with those is they're down in the basement for one reason. You can't get parts for them. So unless you're a machinist and you can produce the kind of quality and figure out how to make parts for these, you're kind of stuck. Once the machine wears out, or you've got to move on. But this company's been around for pushing on 60 years, and they don't rely totally on this piece of equipment for their business, because all the companies that have relied on fastening equipment to make their money, they find that there's a limited market for it, and you just cannot keep up a quality company and keep producing parts and stuff for machines like this if that's your only business. But Ultratech produces other laboratory equipment, and this is a smaller percentage of what they do, but they do make this machine. It's a great machine, and it's really what I recommend. The machine, this machine's $5,500 maybe, or somewhere in that.
Just to pop in, these are USA made, right?
Yep, made in the U.S. The price, although I don't know, they will go up someday, but it's not going to be because of tariffs or anything, because it's all made here in the U.S. So it's just great quality equipment. They're there to back you. They're there with parts, and that's a really key thing in this business. Otherwise, you just end up with machines in the basement. So. And you can see what it produces. Michael cuts on the Ultratech V5, and I use the V5. They're just a very high precision piece of equipment. Did I go through this amethyst? The amethyst $975 is the appraised price. $690 is our price online. $587 is the sale price, and that's $60 a carat on this fine amethyst. Sure. there. Just great brilliance to it. And the color of this material from Bahia, Brazil is just some of the best ever come out of the ground. So we'll have it for years because we bought 3 kilos of it. You know, and the first time we bought it, there was a huge amount available. And then the next year was maybe 1/10 the amount. And this year, probably 100th the amount. And we keep picking through it, looking for the great ones. And because it's just really fantastic and it just cuts such a beautiful stone. Okay, next up. It's a hidden gem. I lost the hidden gem.
I am ready this time. I've got it loaded up.
There it
So,
is.
with the hidden gem, and this is a really cool one. I don't know if I've seen a Tanzanite with the pixel cut before. I know you call it the opposed bar.
Yeah, we
pixel,
have one
whatever it should
other
be.
online that's almost colorless, isn't it?
Oh,
It's
yeah,
got a
yeah.
little
Yeah, I
bit
think
of
that's
violet.
sold, though. All right, so the hidden gems here. This is what I talked about earlier. These we don't release because people buy early. So this one is a brand new one that I just put live. So if you go to MoreGems.com and you're on that category that has all their
Can
stones,
you do L, Mike?
all you got to do is hit refresh, and it should show up right at the top, and it's priced there. With this one, you do use a coupon code. So all you got to do is, if you want to purchase it, put in the coupon code RARE25, and that's going to take 25% off the listed price. Again, you can pay with PayPal, you can pay with credit card, or you can even do financing through a firm.
So this is a pixel cut in reverse. You know, it kind of runs the opposite direction. You know, whereas a pixel cut, yeah, I mean, it kind of runs the opposite 90 degrees different than what the normal pixel cut is. I think it works real well. Kind of definitely a unique look in a gem. Mesmerizing. So this one weighs 6.05 carats. 6,300 is the appraised price. 3,590 is our price that's online, and with the 25 off, it is $2,693 or $445 a carat. And it also VS1 clarity, so little or nothing in it. A little more violet, but almost 50-50. And a rating of 967 out of 1,000. Lap me on the hand.
And just to remind everybody, the camera that Steve's showing here, typically just use it for size reference, not necessarily the color. Some stones it is a little bit more accurate, but in general, just use it for size. Same with all the hand photos on our website. The ones that you see with the hand, just use that for size reference, and the studio photos for color.
Yeah, because this is just the iPhone that's on taking this picture.
And Colleen wanted to know, I guess you showed it on the finger, so this could be used for a ring or a pendant.
Yes, I mean it's a fairly deep cut, so it's going to stand up a little higher. But it's not that big a stone that it's really an issue. Yeah, it would work as both. You know, it's kind of fun in a ring just because you can see the movement more as you move your hand. Up next is a beautiful green tourmaline. Now this one I almost went back and changed the price on it because I thought, what green tourmalines are going for these days, particularly the things with the blues in it like that. More blue than green. Just a great color. This comes from Afghanistan. Weighs 3.73 carats. Raise price $1,585. Nope, $3,170. $1,585 is the price online. 15 off is $1,347. And that's $361 a carat. Focused. Yes. Beautiful Afghani tourmaline. Next stone is some material I need to find more because I just think for an inexpensive gem, these citrines are just beautiful. I think they look like fine spessartite garnets. Such a vivid reddish orange. Now the picture there's a little redder than it actually is, but it is just beautiful, beautiful. You know, and oh boy, didn't clean that one off too well when I took the pictures. Oh well. I think this one's clean. But just really a fantastic color. For several years, this material was readily available. Got much more difficult these days. This is out of Uruguay. This will be heated amethyst. Starts as amethyst and they heat it and turns to citrine, which is the case of high percentage of the citrines that are out there. Just a great color. This again, a Portuguese round. Beautiful brilliance. Focus. This one was, I think Linda cut this. Linda Terry cut. Great job. Really good at the Portuguese cut.
Now, could that one we've talked about before? Michael and I have the spessartite garnets for men's rings, which again, my favorite ring. I don't have it on because I was coming from work, but is this something that could work for a men's ring
Sure.
as well?
Yeah.
Guys, if you want, I mean, this color is just awesome for men's rings.
Yeah, and you'll see some spessartite. I think I have a 5-carat spessartite on the website that's this kind of color, but it's probably $4,000, but 10 times as much for a smaller stone. So I'll be looking for more citrine. I'd like to get some bigger bigger stones, which these have always sold well for. I don't know if there's any other citrine on the website. Be the only one we own. So the citrine 6.47 carats, appraised price $550. $450 is our price online. With 15 off, it's $383, which is $59 a carat.
So I do have a question. It's not about a stone on the show, but we'll see if your memory is correct. Do you remember, I can bring you a picture of it, but Tom, who shopped with us before, he's wondering about the step cut kite tourmaline from Nigeria, the 20 carat. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Oh, the blue-green one. Oh, no, that one? Yeah.
He's wondering, I know it's a large one, but he's wondering, is that too big for a men's ring?
It's pretty big.
Could be a big ring.
Yeah, it'd be a
for
big
sure.
ring. You gotta really like a big ring. I mean, I've had rings that big, but it's a pretty big ring.
Okay.
Did you sell the other half of that one? Because you cut an oval too, I believe.
No,
from that same
the
crystal.
oval. Matter of fact, I just designed a ring for it. I decided to do a tourmaline or a tanzanite in it just today. I designed a ring for that oval stone, which it is a ring, and it was made for a lady's ring.
He says he's got big hands.
I don't know. I mean, if you wear a big ring, is that possible? Sure.
Yeah.
Because the oval stone is not a whole lot smaller than that, and I designed a lady's ring for it.
Yeah.
So, if it's something you want to pursue, we could try and design a ring and see what it looks like. You can see the wax and see if it's too big or not.
He's got size 13, ring size, big hands, so he's looking for a big stone.
Yeah.
For a men's ring.
Yeah, I wouldn't rule it out, and we could...
See about something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have some ideas of what you would like it to be, if you wanted a bezel set or, see what it looks like. Yeah, I'd be willing to do that. Because the matching stone is not much difference in size. There's an oval that came from that same, they come out of the same rough? I don't remember. Yeah. Yeah, because they look color-wise.
Is it the 17 carat?
Yeah, so, and what was that one?
That was 17 carat blue green oval step cut, 17 carats.
Yeah, what's the one he's looking at?
It's the 20 carat. It's in that unique shape.
Yeah.
That
So
kite.
it's not going to look any bigger, and I just designed a women's ring, so I guess the answer is it's not too big, as long as you don't think it's too big, but we'd be willing to try and make a wax, just give us an idea of what you want, and I'd give it a shot, because I would consider even stocking something like that. So if you have some basic ideas, we can discuss it.
Okay.
Because they are beautiful stones.
All right. Hopefully that answers your question, Tom. Colleen also wanted to know about the amethyst that Michael cut. Is it heated or was it purple to start with?
No, it's no heat. Yeah, that Bahia amethyst is not heated. They come out of the ground naturally that color. Sometimes some of the material may be too dark. I think I have heated a few to lighten them up, and that's generally what the process is. Lightening them up or turning the citrine. And
I think that she may have been talking about the citrine. So if you were talking about the citrine, Colleen, the citrine did start as purple, and then it's heated to orange. So if that was what you're talking about. But the stone that I cut, that's completely natural.
Yeah, we should try. I don't know the process exactly for turning amethyst into citrine, although I haven't seen this Bahia as citrine anywhere, have we?
No, and I believe it takes a certain type of material from when I remember we talked to the guy that had this material years ago. He actually said it came from a lighter colored amethyst. Whether that's, fact, I don't know, but I do remember him saying that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So any deep colored citrine like that, I think you can pretty much assume they've been heated from amethyst. There are light colored citrines that are natural, whether they were heated in the ground or not, you never know. But all the naturals I've seen have been just light color, pale.
And before we go ahead, maybe we should check back in with Chris, see how he's doing, since we were just talking about designing a ring. I know he's been working away at that tanzanite pendant.
All right. Let's see how his progress is coming.
Great stone so far, Steve. So let's check in on the progress of this pendant I'm designing for this extraordinary tanzanite. So I went with a simpler design that'll have just enough diamond in it to complement the piece. So this is our basic shape. Almost a little wishbone action there, but you can see how the pendant comes and crosses over itself and then forms the veil. Very simple, but gives it some visual interest too. So we'll bring on our stone. This is the head we created for it. And I'm going to run diamonds all on the surfaces facing up. And I've already started doing that. So we'll run diamond at the top here and down here. So these come down like it's giving it a nice hug. And I may add an accent stone here, maybe a trilliant savorite or emerald. Haven't decided yet. Let us know in the chat what color metal you think we should use for this piece. White, yellow, rose. We'd be interested to know what you think. And yeah, check in a little while and back to you guys.
All right, Chris. Yeah, good start on that piece. I like it. All right, up next, with some hesitation, I show this stone. I thought about keeping it for myself. I have put a few stones away. I typically don't do that because I think in this business it's a bad habit. Excuse me. To get into is putting your best stones back and not selling them. But this is one of those that I did consider because it is a special piece. Large tanzanite, remarkable color, red flash that just doesn't quit. It's almost a inherent part of the body color of this stone is red. But again, it's a complete step cut. As you can see, just incredible brilliance. 27.79 carats. This came from the parcel rough that cut the trillionth that you showed earlier. But definitely special material, and this is a special stone. VS1 clarity, 55% blue, so a little more on the blue side, 45% violet. One of those rare stones that I give 1,000 out of 1,000 rating. I think I had one earlier this year, but you get one or two a year that you feel are that special.
Yeah, this one, literally probably 20 minutes before the show, he says, should I put this one on there or should I put it away? And he's like, So I could still see it going through your head, but it is a spectacular stone when I first saw it too. I mean, there's stones that when you see them, it just kind of just takes your breath away. This is one of those that is just, it right away that it's exceptional.
Yeah, flip that to Al. Nice rock. We've had many, and when we have many fine tanzanites on the website. This one, partly because of its size, do you get this extreme depth of color and the intensity of the flashes coming out of it. The size, again, definitely helps. So the appraised price on this stone is $37,500. Our price online, $20,970. And with the 15% off, it's $17,825 or $641 a carat.
Might as well cut in and get some sales here. There have been some people that bought some things I haven't mentioned yet, so we're gonna go through here.
27 karat tanzanite.
I'm hoping so. That's an amazing stone, but I'm also hoping we hold on to it.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I don't care.
Yeah, that's just a
one way or
crazy
another.
stone. So,
Yeah.
you just need to pass it down to your sons.
But we have the biggest piece of rough we have was from this same parcel also. So we'll see how it comes out. It may cut 100 carat, at least in the mid 80s to 100 carat, somewhere in there. It won't be around brilliant. I think it was maybe an oval, but it was a special parcel of rough for sure.
All right, so we got Richard picked up, I don't think we talked about this one yet, the Portuguese cut aquamarine, 3 carats. I think that's later. Yes.
Portuguese
cut?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's Portuguese style. Okay.
Yeah, that's a special stone. That's natural, untreated
natural
color.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If you heat it, it'll turn more blue, but you really don't want to do it. This is what aquamarine should be like. They typically come out greenish blue out of the ground, but often the green is not a positive additive to the beauty of the stone. So you heat them and just leaves them blue, which this would heat to a really nice blue. Typically they get a little deeper color, but there's no reason to heat this. It's such a beauty as it is. So it comes from Zimbabwe, and it's probably the first Zimbabwe aquas we bought. I wasn't really aware of the availability of aqua from Zimbabwe.
All right, next one. Dave purchased, I remember you sent me pictures of this the other day. Yeah, you don't get these that often. The rare stepped oval highlight opal, 1.59 carats. Yeah, that's...
No, you never get these.
Yes.
Yeah, because this particular source ran out in 2018 or
before that,
sure.
I think even.
Or that
I don't know, it
2016. Yeah, it could be.
Maybe 2018 was the last time we, was able to buy.
Yeah.
But
the mining company we had, they scraped up all the leftovers they had, and we bought anything left that they had that had any potential, because this particular mine, the whole top of the hill that it came out of, they just cut the top of the hill off, and they knew they ran out of all the material that was available. And in the world, this at that time was the only supply of daylight fluorescent highlight opal. And this particular gem, I don't know, did we get the daylight fluorescence on this is like a light mint colored Marilani mint garnet. So when you take this out in the daylight, it will go a mint green color. So it's like a color change stone going from colorless to mint green. And then, of course, you put the UV light on it and it goes intense green. Pool stone. Yeah, I just cut that this week, I think. And I don't know if I have anything else that's going to cut this kind of size. We've pretty much gone through everything. Hopefully I have a few more pieces, but
I've got a couple pieces putting away that
Yeah.
I was selling them as specimens, and I took them out because they have some nice rough in it. So we do have some pieces that'll still be able to be cut.
which it's, yeah. I mean, it's a pain to cut because you have to take a little more protection in cutting. This material, it gets its daylight fluorescence because it is slightly radioactive. Slightly meaning it's not considered a risk to anybody but the cutter, because you're making a sometimes airborne mist of this, and you don't want to breathe it and get it into your body. But as far as wearing it, it's like going out in the sun. You get alpha and beta particles are primarily what it gives off, and they're relatively non-penetrating. I mean, they will go slightly into your skin, but they're pretty much stopped by the skin. But still they are slightly radioactive, and when we mount them, we typically put a backing gold back behind it that will come between you and the stone. So there's should be what I perceive as no risk to even wearing it, but you still may want to not wear it day in, day out, and because there is some radioactivity. But we've done Geiger counter with it, and it's just barely above background. And again, it's primarily alpha and beta particles, which are non-penetrating. So.
And Steve, the chat says they want you to light it up.
Sure.
So Evelyn says, light it up, Steve.
Light it up. Shut up and light it up.
And when you're lighting it up, Colleen wanted to know, are there fake highlights out there?
Are there fake highlights? Well, there are highlights, and then there are daylight fluorescent highlights. Highlight is not a particularly rare stone. Stones that will fluoresce with a UV light, but stones that when you take them out in daylight, just with daylight will fluoresce. That is a very, very rare stone. So that's the difference. You can find highlight, I think, in Nevada, somewhere here in the U.S., somewhere in Europe they produce highlight, and they do fluoresce, but they don't daylight fluoresce. Daylight fluorescence is a very rare phenomenon in gems. You see it in this material, and you'll see it in another stone that we're going to have later, which is a fluorite out of England. But when you cut those, you lose the daylight fluorescence, but they're still a beautiful green. So those are a couple of the only stones that daylight fluoresce. So when you wear a stone and you go outside, it turns green. So that's the rarity of it. Whoop.
And I believe one other source of daylight fluorescent highlight opal that does have really nice daylight fluorescence, I haven't seen any gem quality, is, I want to say, Namibia. You'll see it growing on Chorrol, which actually enhances that really nice daylight fluorescence. So for specimens, those are really cool. But I haven't seen any cut gems. Not to say that there isn't any, but I haven't seen any.
This is what it'll do with a UV light. If you go, what do they call the bowling with the UV? Midnight bowling. It'd be a good stone for midnight bowling. And, I don't know Michael took a better picture of it. This one's, Oop.
What are you showing us on that camera, Steve?
Well, I try and show you the color you get in daylight. you get a light green is the daylight fluorescence. It's still a really pretty color. That not a very good representation of it, but what you get is a light mint green color. So it's like other color changing stones. This is a little different reason it color changes, but it's from the daylight. So incandescent, you're going to see just basically an almost colorless stone. And in the daylight, you're going to get that light green color when you go outside. So unique material for sure.
Well, thank you all for the sales. Yeah, great stones you guys picked up.
All right, up next. This one, did we sell that one?
Another hidden gem.
Hidden gem? I wasn't ready for this hidden gem.
Yeah, Jeffrey, come on. Falling asleep over there.
What's this one? This one is the another Dematoid Garnet. I don't. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm loading this one up. You got to give me a sec here. Again, with the hidden gems, you're going to use, we don't display these right away because we want them to be a surprise and no one gets them until they go live. So this one, you're going to, if you do like it, you just have to go to MoreGems.com, click on that green banner, go to the page with all the gemstones on it, and right now hit refresh. It should show up at the top, and then use RARE25 as a coupon code when you check out for 25% off that listed price. It is there now.
So this is Dematoid Garnet. Dematoid is an andradite garnet. It's a high refractive index, extreme rarity. Weighs 1.08 carat, comes from Namibia. 1710 is the appraised value. $890 is our price online. With the 25% off, it's $668 or $619 a carat. Great color. As you can see, some clarity issues, but in person, not as dramatic as what you see in the video. It's one thing about the videos, they show all. It's probably the main reason we don't do emeralds. We do very little with emerald because they just don't photograph at all.
And Phil grabbed this one up. Still at the Teddy Swims
Man,
concert.
Phil. Teddy Swift's going to be mad.
He's...
What are you doing out there?
He's call him out on stage.
Yeah. As long as it goes viral. If Teddy Swim calls him up there, well, I was on MoreGems.com buying some amazing garnets. So. Hey, thank you, Phil.
That's funny. Okay, what's next? And another tanzanite. I cut a few tanzanites, but I have a lot of tanzanite to cut. It's something that I've purchased. I look at tanzanite as an investment, and I bought it accordingly. I've put as much money as I could put into it over the years, and I've accumulated a lot of material. So it's time to start recouping some of my investment. This is a nice, unique cut. It's a brilliant style pavilion step cut crown. Weighs 9.29 carats. .28 carat. Appraised value of $83.50. Our price online is $59.90. With the 15% off, it's $5,092 or $549 a carat. nice brilliance. This is a brilliant style, is on the same type of cutting that I do in the emerald cuts. It started as a Berrien style, and I've just made my variations of it. And, it works. I can work it into most any shape cut and get a brilliance like this out of it.
Steve,
And that
Bigelow wants to know, in your opinion, would you consider high-grade tanzanite to be a good long-term investment? And I think you have a video out there discussing, investing in tanzanite. But give us your opinion on that.
Well, it's the one stone, like I say, I've keep investing my money into it because it's a single source. Many of the mines are down very deep. Some of them down 3,000 meters.
Bigelow's been in them.
Yes. Matt's been in one of them. Yeah, I don't know how far we got down, 1,200 feet or so. But the country is making a great effort to get a greater control of the distribution of the material. And whether that will have an effect on the pricing or it just starts running out. This is 12 square kilometers is the total world production, and they've been working on this mining area since 1967. And, just one of these years, it's just going to slow down production, and demand is high enough that it won't take much change in the production for it to become rare and for the price to go up significantly. That's how I feel about it, and it's one of the few stones that I feel is a good investment. How long it's going to take, I don't know. I'm thinking 10 years, would be a good estimate as to when the mines start playing out. Mining, you never know, but with the government trying to get better control of it, they've built a wall around it. That's going to have some effect on pricing. Did I get through the pricing on this stuff? So $549 a carat is worth it. I tried. Didn't do very well at it. Okay, next stone up is a peridot. And peridot in Portuguese cuts has always been one of my favorite gems. I just think it shows off the color really well. And this is a stone that it has very little of the yellow that is distractive in peridots. It's more of a mint color. And this Portuguese cut just does something for the material. Weighs 7.35 carats. This comes from Pakistan. This material is 11,000 feet up in the Himalayas is where it's mined. So mining is somewhat sporadic. The part of the year it's completely snowed in, probably a good part of the year. But it is probably the finest source of peridot in the world. Appraised price on this $3,180. Our price online $1,590. And with the 15% off, it's $1,352 or $184 a carat. Some inclusions in this, but in person, barely visible. A nice ring size. Good. I don't know if he's had enough time. Maybe give him a little more time. Although he's pretty quick. No, maybe he's good. I don't know. Chris, how you doing?
Thanks, Steve. Really incredible stones this evening. And if you purchased a stone tonight or at one of our previous shows and you are interested in having a custom piece made, you can send ideas to Alice and I at Moriarty's Custom at gmail.com. And now let's take a look at the pendant I've designed. So here's the finished pendant, the model. We ran our diamonds along all the surfaces facing up. I may put a couple more in here just to fill this in a little more, but I don't want it to go too far because otherwise I'll be hitting the chain. This has a nice twist to it, which forms the veil. And let's find out what it looks like rendered out. So this is our finished rendered piece in white gold. I also have a couple of ideas for adding a accent stone, maybe an emerald or savorite, and I've also rendered it out in yellow gold because again we'd like your guys' opinion on what color you'd like to see this pendant in. Now that we have our design and our model, I'm going to go ahead and produce a 3D printed prototype of it on our 3D printer. And this is something we provide to all our customers so they can see what the piece is going to look like before we do anything. So along with the renders, this makes it really easy to figure out what kind of design you're into and what you really want. So I'll go ahead and get the printer fired up, get this model printed. Why don't you check back in a little while and we'll see what we have. Back to you guys.
Oh, those are really cool, Chris. Good job. You know, did a little bit of study on what color people liked, and it appears that it was about 65% white, 35% yellow, which is kind of how I'm seeing the market currently. We're making a shift back to yellow gold. So we're starting to produce a little more yellow, but still the market's, as that study says, is more strongly towards white metals. And, you know, that cool designs, and, you know, I think I have a beautiful trillionth emerald that would look good as the secondary stone in one of those pieces you did. So good job. Yeah. All right, up next, I bought some small 1 gram size roughs when we were in, we get those, Hong Kong or Thailand? Hong Kong. And, you know, fairly good sized parcel. You know, not something that is real profitable to cut, but they cut cool gems. You know, you cut a nice octagon like this, and you get some great brilliance out of it. So it's kind of fun. They're relatively quick to cut. And this is kind of cutting you don't typically get to buy from Asia or from Tanzania. So you get a little different look and nice brilliance. You know, it doesn't cut real deep colors, but really still a beautiful color. And as you can see, nice pleochroism in it. A great brilliance. You know, and I like the octagonal look. Something a little bit different than a round. So it's a carat 44. Rating of 910 out of 1,000. And that's partly due to the lighter color. Well, and it's not 100% clean. So, you know, it's still an SI1, which is
You don't have to add it up, Steve.
I don't have to talk about it more?
No. So this 1.44 carat, yes. So Amber picked up the octagonal brilliant tanzanite.
Oh, cool. Yes.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
believe
Thanks,
this is
Amber.
one.
Yeah. I'll try.
Or is there a
and-
similar one? Oh,
There is a similar one.
oh, there is.
Yeah. So maybe she picked up the other one, or no?
You know what? I may be wrong.
Oh,
So
okay.
was it
Well, this one may be still available.
$272 or $332?
It was no, it's this one, the 144 carat, right? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yes.
Okay. Cool.
That one is sold. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Amber. And also, I'm going to include some other sales that we just got. So Vicky picked up that pixel cut tanzanite, the rare 25 one. That's a cool stone.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's really cool cut on that one. Yep. Like to see what you're gonna do with that one, Vicky. And then Bill, still from he's on a, I don't know. Teddy Swims, not getting much attention tonight. He picked up the other Dematoid garnets, the 1.22 carat. I think it's a trillion.
Oh, I guess I'm out of.
Yeah. That's like a really hot stone. I know we did the email last week, and it's all of them sold right away. Just a really cool, different color. Thank you, everybody.
I'll have to work on getting more, but it just this is all I've seen, and and when I'd like to have something bigger, but I know the price is going to go up pretty dramatically, and but I'm now that I've found some material and found the interest in it, I will look harder and try and come up with something, some more gems, definitely unique, and when it's a stone that you've never, I can't recall ever owning any in my entire time in business. Okay, next stone. I think it's another octagonal tanzanite. This one weighs a carat 32. Appraised price of $990. $515 is the price online, and with the 15 off, it's $332. So it might make a nice pendant ring combination for somebody. I think they're pretty much the same cut. Cut both these the same way. Interesting. Oh, okay. I was going to say the table size looks different, but it's just a picture that, you're seeing in the picture, you're seeing, it looks like a table, but it's actually just the brilliance of the pavilion. I was looking at the difference in the table size, but it's just an illusion of the picture online that makes that looks like it has a small table. I'm going, boy, those table sizes aren't the same, but it's the same gem. So.
This would be a good one for probably a ring or a small pendant.
Yeah, and probably a nicer ring.
Yeah.
Is it showing okay? All right, next stone up. Well, this one actually sold already. We had a customer that she had it on hold, and then it was off hold. And then she called today and said it went offline, which this one was online. And she was interested in buying it again, and we'd already had it set up for the show. But I did let her buy it, and so this one is actually not available. But we gave it a replacement. Which do you have the replacement picture there, Mike?
Yes, give me 1 second here.
Different stone, but another unique ametrine. Michael cut this stone.
You guys aren't telling me about these hidden gems
yeah,
here.
sorry,
Okay.
the one hidden gem,
All right.
it was
Okay.
not available. So we've got this ametrine.
All right. You guys are probably tired of me saying this, but the hidden gem is if you go to MoreGems.com, click on that green banner at the top, go to the category page, refresh it in 5 seconds. This stone will show up. That's a really cool color there. And then if you add it to your cart, just add the coupon code RARE25. Oh, that's sharp. At checkout, and you'll receive 25% off that list price.
So this one weighs 16 karat 86. It's not. Huh. Oh, that's the other one. Oh, it's out of order. Yeah, it's 38 karat. Okay. Comes from Bolivia. Michael cut this stone. Appraised value of $2,660. Our price online $1,710. With the 25% off, it's $1,283 or $34 a carat. It's a nice, unique gem displaying the two colors. You know, as you'll see later, we have one that splits these colors in an emerald cut, which is typically what you see. This is a mixture of the colors that just produces a nice, unique gem.
So how does this happen?
How does it happen?
Yes. Like some of the stones you cut, like I love how this is kind of mixed. And I've seen other ametrine that you've cut where it's like split right down the middle.
Right.
And that's, I guess, the way that it's cut. But why, you know, because you got amethyst that's all purple, you got citrine that's all orange. How does, you know, this mix happen? Do we know?
I'm not sure they know.
Okay.
Yeah, I've not, you know, it could be something to do with the heating because, you know, you get citrine from heating amethyst. So is it some kind of reaction heating because of the chemical makeup of it, or don't know.
Yeah.
But I've always thought it was, for a bicolored stone, it was remarkably inexpensive. Single source, bicolor. You know, I know they produce a fairly good quantity of it, but, you know, it's not like the world is overrun with material. And it's just very inexpensive per carat, you know, for something so unique and really so beautiful a gem. And again, Michael did a beautiful cutting job on the stone.
Can you?
Thank you.
Oh, you get the question, Michael?
Oh, no, yeah.
There's a question of how deep is it?
Well, I think it's just showing there. It says 15.5 mil. But
Oh, yes. Okay. That'd be a big ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not excessively deep. I mean, it's cut at the ideal angles to cut this gem at. You know, quartz has a fairly low refractive index, so it does end up cutting a little bit deeper than some other gems, but, you know, not excessively deep, although it's probably 80% depth. It's as shallow as it should be to get the kind of life that it has. You know, and that small table worked really well for this cut. Always concerned about sometimes small table works really well, sometimes not so good, but in this case it's a good combination of cutting. Pendant size.
Oh yeah, that'd be a big ring. A great pendant. Good job on that cut, Michael.
Thanks. Yeah, Steve's always talking about those big facets on quartz. Man, those are
A challenge.
it was a challenge to get those polished, but I think it turned out cool. I thought the shape was neat.
Yeah, quartz is one of the more difficult stones to polish. I think it's challenging for a lot of people polishing quartz. This one we sold, right? Pretty sure. Okay, next up is Malaya Garnet from Mahenge in Tanzania. Mahenge produced these lighter colors that typically have not been available. Mahenge's produced some really unique colors, beautiful gems, but Mahenge has the supply has dwindled dramatically from when it originally came out, which was probably 5-6 years ago. Could be longer, but it produced strongly for a short period, and then production has been down significantly. Really a beautiful stone. Again, Mahenge is the source that pretty much changed how garnets were priced. They produced all these lighter colors that, when cut right, just produced such great brilliance. Really a diamond-like brilliance. And pretty much probably forced the prices of a lot of garnets as much as double. And rightfully so. I mean, there's hardly anything prettier than really fine garnets, and come in so many colors. They just have this really great brilliance. This one weighs 2.44 carats. Appraised price is $1,850. Our price online $1,460. Lost here. With 15 off, it's $1,241 or $509 a carat. These stones change somewhat in different lights, going from a more pink and incandescent to kind of a mixed peachy color, more in the daylight. High clarity on this stone, which helps with the brilliance.
Michael, this question may be for you. What polishing material did you use on the ametrine?
Well, quartz, we use cerium oxide on a Spectralap. That and opal is pretty much how we polish opal and quartz. Almost everything else, we've been using 50,000 diamond on the bat lap. But yeah, the cerium oxide on SpectraLab, and we've got a couple videos out there of Steve demonstrating how he uses these SpectraLabs. Because they come pre-charged, but we also have extra cerium that we apply throughout the cutting just to make the laps last a little longer. So if you go on our YouTube channel, search how to polish quartz, you'll probably see maybe 3 different videos showing that process. So hopefully that helps you out.
Also, Matt would like to see that stunning tanzanite again. The 27 carats. Wow, there it is. We can just show that one more time. 1,000 and 1,000.
Mike.
I'm going to move my head out of the way.
Whoa. Man.
Did you run into any issues cutting this, Steve? You know?
Yeah,
know it had
I
to be
don't think with
stressful,
this one.
or-
Yeah, I've had a few the last couple of weeks that been issues.
Look at all that red flash, Jeffrey.
I know. Do we put
Jeffrey
it?
loves the red flash, everybody. I don't know
Yeah.
if anybody else in chat remembers that Jeffrey loves his red flash.
Yeah, the red flash is just because it's searched for. You know, I'm always looking what people are looking for, and people, it's a legit thing. People, you know, it's a unique thing, the tanzanite that people want. And if you don't tell them, you know, it's sometimes hard to see in the pictures. Not in this one. I mean, you can see that coming through.
Yeah, this
easily.
one, it's so dramatic.
Yeah.
And like you say, some display it but don't photograph well with it unless you do some special lighting. Using incandescent will help it show up. You know, this one didn't need any help. But we don't talk about red flash a lot because it's still a rare phenomenon. Typically only in bigger stones and deeper colored stones, and it doesn't show up always. You know, and there are many, many beautiful colors that have no red flash.
So you're saying the number one rule of red flash is don't talk about red flash?
Well, that was our policy there for a while because people goes, well, I want red flash. Well, good luck finding it. You know, and you're going to skip a lot of beautiful gems that don't have it but still display a top incredible color for tanzanite, but the red flash is not a characteristic of it.
We need an emoji for red flash. So every time there's red flash, we can just go pop in the chat and put that emoji in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jeffrey,
It's
find a red flash emoji, Jeffrey.
Still probably not a great thing to talk about too much. But it's hard to miss it in that stone, for sure. Next one up. I don't know, we on the ametrine? No, really. No, there's another one. I think you did. Yeah, we got 2 stones before that sapphire.
Alright.
I think the confusion of the other ametrine just kind of threw us out of.
Yeah, I jumped ahead. So yeah, we missed a couple stones. So let's start with the zircon here.
Okay.
That was my bad.
So this is a zircon from Mozambique, really a beautiful color. And I don't even know what to call this color. Kind of peachy. It's kind of got red on the ends. And this is this on L or put it on something else? That color's not accurate. Better. Maybe. Closer. But this stone's going to vary quite a bit in different lights. But nice unique color, extremely brilliant stone because zircon has a very high refractive index. which gives it a lot of brilliance. And the stone's just brilliant throughout. I didn't heat this. A lot of the zircons we have, that I do the heating, but this one probably has been heated. They typically start out a deeper color and more brownish to start with. And you heat them, you get these peachier colors. A beautiful, brilliant stone. You can see just lively throughout. So the stone weighs 14.11 carats, comes from Mozambique, appraised price $4,090, our price online $24.25, and with the 15 off it's $2,061 or $146 a carat. All right, did you have an ametrine in there, Mike, somewhere? Oh, okay.
There's your ametrine.
All right.
We found it.
So this is a more typical split for ametrine. Typical, they're cut like this to display the bicolor effect. The stone weighs 16.86 carats, appraised price of $1,515.
In chat, real quick, I'm just curious whether that music's still playing or not. If it is, maybe give me a thumbs up in chat. Let me know. Is it loud enough? It's too loud. Yeah, just looking for some feedback on that option.
You get one negative feedback on it.
Oh yeah.
They just like to hear your guys' voices, and mine especially. But also, but yeah. So that's one feedback I heard.
There's one negative feedback.
I won't name the person, but
oh man. Okay. Is it the weird music? Because it's AI generated.
Is
too.
it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they just enjoy our voices.
All right. Okay.
I don't know.
Right, well,
I don't know what it is.
Maybe we should be able to hear it.
Yeah, leave it in the comments what you guys think, and I'll adjust.
I'll stall. It's getting late. I will start a poll.
Oh,
and see
okay.
what people think.
Okay.
And then I'll consider the what the results are.
You'll consider it. All
He
right.
may ignore you, but he'll consider.
It's just a poll.
Yeah.
Yep.
The ametrine from Bolivia. What was the final price on this one? Was $718 or $43 a carat. So this is another way of cutting ametrine to display the separation of the colors more. All right. Next one up is another, I think this is Rock Creek Sapphire. Oh, this is from my last trip to Madagascar, 2008. So, and I still have rough to cut. You know, they're all going to be small, but hitting a carat stone's great, particularly hitting a nice blue carat. And I think this one's no treatment on this. You know, all the rough I bought at the mine. This is from Ilakaka in Madagascar. And this comes from Bank Swiss, which is one of the biggest mines in Madagascar. A friend owned it at the time, Jean Noel. If you're out there, Jean Noel, hello, how are you doing? I don't think he owns the mine anymore, but at that time they were mining, and we bought a nice parcel from him. You know, the material is pretty flat, so difficult to cut, difficult to get full brilliance like this. You know, they're typically cut, and you have to window them a little bit to make use of the flatness of the stone. But this one cut really, really nice, and it's clean. You know, getting a VS1 clarity stone out of sapphire is not always easy. Really nice shape and fully step cut pavilion and crown. Again, a really nice brilliance. So appraised price $2,260. Our price online $1,230, and with the 15% off, this stone is $850.
What would you call this color, Steve? Corey would like to know. I don't know if this.
What is this color?
I'm trying to think
Just
what the
light
color
blue.
would be. Not like ocean blue. That'd be deeper. To ask ChatGPT to come up with a color for this. Yeah, it's very unique, you know, color. But
Pretty stone. You know, and the difference on heated probably makes at least 40% difference in the value of a stone. So when it's heated, worth less. Definitely a strong market for unheated stones. And we had a sale.
yes, Linda picked up one of probably my favorite cut, Portuguese cut Himalayan peridot.
Oh, cool.
That's a really nice one.
Yep.
7 carat.
And I've said it often. It's one of my favorite gems, Portuguese cut peridots. You know, I've always thought they were just beautiful, beautiful looking gems.
Cool. Thank you for the sale.
And up next, if I'm in order. Okay. Something I don't cut often. And this is a stone that I'd started cutting 2 or 3 years ago. And had an issue with, kind of like the issues I've had with the moonstones we talked about. This was just flaking up on me. And this is one that my discussions with people about trying to cut the moonstone helped me with this stone, you know, which was much in changing the direction of the laps that you're cutting with. And I managed to get through this stone, one I'd put away, like I said, years ago. And, you know, this is a fluorite from the Roger Lee mine in England. The material that this is cut from is daylight fluorescent, and this material would, if you took it outside, it would go blue. but all that daylight fluorescence is basically in the surface of the gem. So when you cut a gem, you still get a beautiful green color, but you lose that daylight fluorescence of the material. But still, really pretty stone. Weighs 16.91 carats. We have mounted these in pendants, but it's risky.
Yeah. So
This is not an easy stone. It's soft. It fractures easily.
And the finishing process of it could damage the stone.
So it's more a collector's gem.
For sure. I mean, we have done it with much reluctancy. It's not one of those things that we want to see in the shop, just because it is very challenged, easily damaged. If you have to have it set and you really want it set,
go somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, 18 karat yellow gold, something simple. There'd be no bezels.
Nice glob of epoxy.
Yeah. So it's I mean, and then you're gonna be risking wearing it when you take it off. You need to lay it down on a pillow, so it is a collector's stone.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
We don't want to mount it, but it really beautiful color. I mean, it's just it's a lovely gem, but durability it doesn't have it. So appraised price on this doesn't have an appraised price because there's no pricing in the pricing guide. So it's $1,090 with the 15 off. It is $927 or $55 a carat. Really pretty. We had a sale.
Yes, we did. And
Yes.
I'm, kind of really surprised by this one, just because, we've known him for so long. But yeah, Matt made a purchase today.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, what did Matt purchase?
You want to know?
Let's hear it.
The 27 karat tanzanite.
Oh my
boy.
goodness! Wow,
Wow.
man, Matt, that is a sweet stone.
Yes.
Matt, I'd love to say I'm totally happy, but if it had lasted a week, it probably would have gone off the site.
Yes. Yeah. Can we show that again? And I think
don't
that's
wanna.
all.
I'll be depressed.
Well, it's like the perfect stone because he did travel to Tanzania with you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Took some amazing. I mean,
Well,
if
and
you
I'm
can,
glad you got it. for
Yeah,
that
it's
reason.
like- it's a
It was
great-
a good trip, and Yeah.
probably the perfect tanzanite to remember that trip. And if everybody's got a chance, there's a blog post on tanzanitejewelrydesigns.com that details the trip between Steve and Matt. And just Matt's always been a great photographer. I think he actually did our wedding, me and my wife's wedding, like 20 years ago as well. But some amazing like National Geographic like pictures are on that site.
It was spectacular.
Yeah, so I'm glad it's going to him. It's an amazing stone, for a really great guy.
Yeah.
So.
Nice job, Matt.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it's
thank you.
Matt. Yeah, I really thanks so much.
Very cool.
And you'll
Yeah.
just look at this stone and you'll look at it again and again and again.
Be blown away
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. All right. With mixed feelings, I'm moving on. Some things you're hard to part with. Cool. All right. What's up next? All right. Another hidden gem.
Ready this
Jeffrey?
time. All right. So again, guys, this is a hidden gem. And sorry, I'm still about to sell that killer stone. Okay. We got this hidden gem here. All you got to do is go to MoreGems.com, click on that little banner at the top. You're going to go to the category page, just hit refresh, and the stone will show up at the top. And then all you got to do is check out, use coupon code RARE25, and you'll take 25% off our list price.
So another stone Michael cut, and he saw a unique character in this piece of rough he had, and he cut it. This is a semi-black, is what I would call it, meaning it has a darker body color, and the transparency just makes this unique because you see one whole side of it has no color. But still transparent, which is unusual in opals like from Australia. You don't see this kind of transparency typically. This would be crystal opal, meaning it is clear like a crystal. But then you got half of the stone that has these bars of color running across it. So it just makes it a really unique stone. Appraised value, we don't have an appraised value on it. Hard to put a appraised value on.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. That's what I liked about it. And, the faceting, I just kind of followed the rough, no rhyme or reason to it. So it's something interesting. I thought it was neat. Kind of, I don't know if you could consider that a bicolor. But
yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Don't yeah.
But I don't know. It was just something different, and I wanted to test out the machine and, see how this, freeform faceting worked, which I learned a few things doing it too.
So appraised price, the price online, $515. And with the 15% off, $386 or $62 a carat. I could make a unique pendant for sure. And you could do it as a ring. These opals much safer as a pendant though. You'll never see another one like it. Another good job there, Michael.
Thank you, Stephen. Learn from the best.
So what's been now that you've cut about 20 stones, what was easiest stone to cut and your hardest stone to cut?
Oh, man. I don't know if I'd say any of them were easy. Probably the stones that don't have any issues or inclusions in them were definitely easier. That tanzanite that it was on the show or is on the show, that one was probably one of the harder ones because I felt like it was kind of issue after issue. There was one crack in the side. It looked like a small inclusion. Then I started cutting in, and the fracture just kind of ran across the whole stone, which was like...
I've rarely seen in tanzanite.
Yeah, it was...
Where it just opened up on you like that.
Yeah, you could visually see it running. And then, we were chasing after it to close it up, cut that out. And then there was, another inclusion that I had to cut around. So cutting natural stones with inclusions and around them and trying to get that yield is a challenge. So
you say you were chasing the crack. So if it's like cracking like that,
yeah.
Do you try to get in front of it and cut it out, or
you just cut? Yeah, you just go after it at the angle that you need to, and to get it out of there. So
yeah, it's something you often see in tourmalines, not unusual, and sometimes they just keep going. You never get them out. In tourmalines, you chase them quick and try and cut fast through it. And once you're through it, the stress is generally relieved, and it's a problem, as was the case with this one. your weight loss, that's debatable whether we made any money on that.
Yeah,
stone or
it
not.
was a lot bigger when it started.
Yes, it was. But it was a good experience for sure. Good-
Yeah,
good
but that
learning
was, I'd
experience.
say, to this point was the most difficult, just because, when you're cutting away that much material on something as valuable as tanzanite, it gets a little stressful.
Yep, for sure.
So, just because, it's just like, oh, how far is this going to go? So, but we got it done.
Okay, up next.
Oh, and there's
and,
actually still one hidden gem remaining too. So we kind of tricked you there.
Or is it?
It'll be coming up later, Steve.
Okay.
And you know what? Maybe this is a good time to kind of check back with Chris and
All right.
see what he's got for us.
Yeah, what do you got going, Chris? How we coming?
Thanks, guys. Well, the print's done, so let's take the build table out and see what we got. Well, our print is complete. I'm going to remove the models from the build table and remove all these supports, and then we'll deliver it to Steve. So here's the complete 3D print of the design we created today for this tanzanite. So I'm going to take it back and deliver it to Steve.
All right, thanks, Chris. Maybe if that's the way it was designed or the other way. But anyway, here's the final piece or final possible piece. There are several variations of it. See all the way up both sides of it will be set diamonds. Also the potential for putting the trillion cut stone at the top of the piece. So from here we'll do lost wax casting, and we'll try and show you the piece, finished piece. Next show we'll decide, we'd like your opinions on whether you think it's better just with the diamonds or the addition of a trillion cut at the tip of the stone there.
We know 65% of you liked it in the white metal, so maybe we can get another poll whether we have an accent stone, look, I think you put an emerald at the top, or keep it as is.
Yeah,
And
I should have, if I knew what he was doing, I should have found the emerald that I have, because I think I do have a single really, really pretty emerald.
Yeah. All right.
So that would, if I do have a great stone, that would probably be my choice as far as what to do with it.
Yeah, and green and with tanzanite always looks good. We do Savarite garnets a lot, and it is a great accent color. And Chris is here tonight, so if anybody has any questions, design questions about creating a piece around their stone or just design and jeweler design in general, he is here tonight, and he'd be happy to answer any questions you've got. So feel free to put those in chat, and once we get around to it, we'll have him answer those for you.
In our previous poll, we should keep the music or just have our lovely voices. 60% like the music. So
60% liked it. All right.
yes,
Well,
yep.
I will rewatch the show, and I'll see how I feel about it, and then I will take your guys' considerations.
See if we can improve on
Yeah,
the volume or the
Somebody said it was kind
type
of
of
loud.
music? Or
it's kind of loud.
Yeah,
Okay.
one person said that.
Yeah,
but,
and you know that's the other thing is the type of devices people are listening on. I didn't test it like on a TV or I tested it on my phone. So I think people's different speakers will have an effect on that. So I'm gonna do some testing myself. So thank you guys for
thank
letting me
you.
know.
All right, again, thanks, Chris. Nice job on this piece, for should make a beautiful piece. All right, next stone up. Did we have a sale or?
Oh, that was.
Oh. Okay. Oh, this is the next one up. Out of order here. So many stones tonight. Confusing.
Oh man, yeah, making 38 overlays for all these stones that we've cut. It was a little bit of a challenge, but it's all good. We have fun.
So another beautiful Malaya coming from Mahenge, Tanzania. High clarity, VS1 clarity, 3.30 carats. Appraised value $2,145. And with the 15 off, it's $1,122 or $340 a carat. And you can see the nice brilliance that garnet is typical. It's really nice brilliance from a garnet. Nice color, nice fine Malaya color, and a peach, which is my real definition of Malaya. There's a lot of things called Malaya, but I think of the peach colors.
Jeffrey lost power on his laptop, so you will no longer see his face this evening. He forgot to bring his charger.
See my face?
Oh, yeah, I guess you could. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah, they could still
Just
see
going to
you.
work off the phone for now.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Man, I set this whole thing up, and I don't understand how it works, apparently.
Beautiful stone for a ring. Big enough for a pendant, but make a great ring. And garnet's typically tough enough to hold up in a ring. Again, that's Mahenge Malaya garnet. Right.
Now, for the stone like that 27 carat, if somebody like Bigelow is asking, should he store it as an investment or mount it and wear it?
Well, I guess it's something you wouldn't want to wear regularly. You'd like to keep the stone intact, not get it scratched up. Kind of up to you, but it is a real investment. That's the kind of quality that when it disappears, it'll have such great value. I would put it away. It's a pretty big stone to wear. But that said, it would be a beautiful ring too, But you do the only risk is scratching the surface. You're probably not going to damage it too great. And it can be repolished. Big job repolishing a stone that size, but it's truly a top investment stone. From my standpoint, I would maybe do a smaller stone as a ring and just keep that one just to look at and go, ooh, that's a beauty.
What about as a necklace or something?
Yeah, well, of course, much safer as a necklace, yeah.
Yeah.
You could wear it as a pendant and not worry about damaging it. So this up next, a stone we've had great luck with, gray spinel. This one's really not as gray as most. Definitely more blue to it, but still a gray component to it. Again, the hexagonal that I kind of got into cutting there for a couple of weeks. Yeah. So this cut just has really, really good brilliance, especially in spinel, good high refractive index, so you get a lot of brilliance out. And you'll find you get some nice dispersion. As you can see, the breakup of the light in the spectral colors just in this light. Typically, daylight probably shows it best. The LEDs now show dispersion really. But great stone. This comes again from Mahenge in Tanzania, which is a relatively new source for this color of spinel. Mahenge produced the fine pinks, which rapidly went from 500 a carat to 4,000 a carat from the same source. Those pinks and reds that came out of there were a bargain for so long, and then just the market said these are worth much, much more, and they became very expensive stones. So this is a new color that's come out of there just recently in the last couple years. Really pretty stone, high clarity on this one, VS1 clarity, no treatments, so these are natural, untreated. 1.30 carats, appraised value $1,560. Our price online $1,090, and with the 15% off, it's $927 a carat, or $713 per carat. $927 price for the stone. Beautiful gem.
So in the past, I love gray spinel. I think it looks so clean on white gold. I know you're not a big gray guy, but since this has a little bit of bluish hint to it, or green, you opened up to this one a little bit more?
I'm more into it, and then I'm more into it because I realize that people like it and can change my opinions on stones. So, I do like them more, and I like them more with a little more than just gray.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like this.
They're just so clean. I don't know.
There's something about them because the market for them is just huge.
Yep.
So what it is that pleases people, I may not totally understand it, but I do understand when they're as saleable as there are that they're seeing something that my past knowledge of what is desirable, is not always correct. Live and learn and learn, if you want to be profitable, learn what people are into these days and, know that things change. All right, up next, another tanzanite, and this is kind of a cool stone, really, really great color. longer length to width, which becomes more difficult to get more brilliance out of it. But this one worked, and again, it's probably not fully in the new style of cutting that I do, but very, very similar. It's kind of the transition cut. Very deep color, which affects the brilliance a little bit, but as I look at it, just it still has very lively stone. This one weighs 4.83 carats. Appraised value $4,880. Our price online $25.90. With the 15 off, it's $22.02 or $456 a carat. And next one up, kind of an unusual color of sapphire. Just a deep orange. Not, that's close. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Just a color I can't say I've seen before.
Now, when I was making these overlays, you didn't have an origin. Is this Madagascar?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Okay. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
I think I have notes on it somewhere. I'll have to look further.
Okay.
I was a little confused about the source I had on it, so I'll look it up, try and figure out exactly where it's at. Good chance it's Madagascar. Most likely source for it. So it weighs 1.55 carats. Appraised price of $1,860. With the 15 off, it's $922 or $595 a carat. And I do have a note here, Madagascar. I believe it is Madagascar.
There you have it. Cool.
And good clean stone. VS1 clarity. If you're a collector of sapphires, this is a color that, again, I can't recall ever seeing this color in sapphire.
When you traveled to Madagascar, you did you get a lot of sapphire when you were there? Or,
Yeah, quite a bit.
I know it was a while ago, but
Yeah, sapphire was just found in Alakaka at the time, and so we did get quite a bit of sapphire.
is it?
Oh, and the prices when they hit, and it changed the whole market for sapphire. Matter of fact, when it first came out, all the Sri Lankans were there buying it, and they were saying it was from Sri Lanka, just so they could get Sri Lankan prices and not, the market had changed so much. You could have bought a back then a 5-carat top sapphire for 1,000 a carat, which now is 7, 8, 9,000 a carat. So it pretty much really changed the sapphire market for quite some time.
Okay.
And they're still producing new sources. Ilakaka still produces, but there are new sources producing more material out of Madagascar. Next stone up is maybe one that's sold, the aqua. Yeah, that's the blue-green aqua that's sold. Really, really pretty stone. Just great color. The baggy, beautiful. And I'll have a couple more. These are some of them I've wanted to recut, and I did a recut on. You know, the pavilion, it was shallow, and I recut the pavilion on that stone. I think the next one's... Okay, here's another
Hidden gem, Jeffrey.
another
The
hidden
final
gem.
hidden gem.
Okay.
The final hidden gem.
I'm prepared on my phone to do this one here. David, okay. Gotta give you 1 sec. You can talk about it, Steve.
Okay.
Well, before she does that, so this again is a hidden gem. You're going to use coupon code RARE25 for 25% off that list price. You go to MoreGems.com, click on that green banner. You're going to find all the stones from the show. As soon as I get this loaded up in the next 30 seconds, you can hit refresh, and then you'll be able to purchase it.
All right. This is one of those nightmare stones like Michael talked about. Mine was a little different. I think heating caused it had a minor inclusion in it. It caused it to break open, and that's all you could see. I mean, it was out towards the edge of the girdle, and, you know, it just became a reflector that you couldn't miss it. So I ended up thinking I could just cut the row of facets around the girdle and it would go away, but it wasn't that easy. I actually ended up having to recut the whole crown of the stone to get rid of it and have the stone work like it is. So it became a much better stone because now it's should be a VS1 clarity. There's nothing in the stone now. And it just really brilliant stone. Again, nice red flash. Ended up with 4 rows of facets. Typically you do 3 rows on it. Just the nature of what I had to do to recut it and trying to cut it to the minimum, which didn't work. I had to put more effort into it and ended up just doing 4 rows of facet to make it work. But it worked totally. I mean, the brilliance is excellent and the color is just top notch. So a really beautiful gem. Went from about 925, I think was the original weight on it. So I lost a little less than a carat to recut it. Just something you deal with tanzanite, and when you have to heat stones, you know, if you leave anything in them, you know, there is a risk that those will open up on you. So price on this $9,620. Our price online of $5,400. With the 15 or 25% off, it's $4,050 or $483 a carat. Really a great stone for the money. I mean, look at the brilliance. Just beautiful, beautiful gem, beautiful color. A rating 965 out of 1,000. You know, people ask me, as an investment stone, what do I recommend? And typically I'm in the 950 and above. And I would probably question whether it be 965. Yeah, I'm not sure where I lost a little on this stone. Obviously the color, but hey, great stone. And a bargain at was 400 and 483 a carat. Next stone up. Gold. Chrome pyro. One of the few stones I didn't cut, but this one was on layaway, and somebody just had it on layaway for too long. So it came back out, and in time for the show, did not cut it. But you know, the big benefit of this material is they're so rich. You know, we'd like to go to the mines in Arizona, just to, you know, this is on the Indian reservation is where they're called anthill garnets, because the anthills are red, you know, because the ants are bringing up little small pieces of garnets and ends up making their hills red. And this stone, you know, this picture doesn't do it justice at all, because they're just really, really red color. You know, you'd confuse them where you would think it was a ruby because they're so red. Weighs 1.41 carat. They don't come much bigger. Occasionally you'll see them over 2 carat, but they're such deep color that as they get bigger, they get overly dark, and that's the issue. And you'd like them bright enough to show that bright red color, and you know, so typically you'll be buying stones under 2 carat.
Hey, good night, Eileen. Yeah, it was really good seeing you recently as well.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us again tonight, and you have a really good night.
He's leaving us?
He's leaving.
Yeah.
He's had enough.
All right, Eileen, we're almost done. So, yeah, talk to you. Okay, that stone, the retail price on $4.99, the 15 off is $424. It's $301 a carat. I say, I hope we get more material, just because when you hit them right, they're just remarkably beautiful red. You know, we use some of these in our mother's rings, and I worry that people are going to confuse them with ruby because they're redder than what rubies typically are. You know, they're just a pure, vivid red, no secondary purples or pinks, just red. Next gem up, another tanzanite. This one's 4.65 carats.
Tracy Steve's gonna work on that for you.
A decent size for a ring. Of course, again, much redder than what you're seeing. Okay, back to the tanzanite. And just a real sparkler. Fully brilliant. I mean, it's not easy to get gems where you can look at them and just there's no dead spots in. That's the goal of a gem cutter, is just to give you full brilliance. And this stone really fits that bill.
Bigelow said he wants to see you peek through the hands again.
You mean this? Is that what we're doing?
I think we tell everybody
Whatever
why he
you
does
want there,
this.
Matt.
It's that it focuses in on the stone, so everybody doesn't think it's some weird. I'm sure Matt, being a photographer, understands that, but
A little lighter color, but still beautiful color. Now this is 25% blues and 75% violet, so more violet in this gem. It's just outstanding brilliant. This one, raise price $46.50. $21.90 is our price online. With 15 off, it's $18.62 or $400 a carat. Look at the brilliance. And it is, it's a step cut again. Thought it had a brilliant pavilion, but it's all step cut. Again, the most underused cut in the business. I probably do half the stones I cut are probably step cuts. This is the kind of brilliance you get from it. And we had a sale.
yes, Roger picked up that deep red pyrope garnets.
Oh, cool.
Great price,
Yeah.
especially for that color. Ugh.
Nice, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great stone. Yeah, they are so cool, and yeah,
The
Yeah,
story
we-
behind them with the ants is
Yeah.
too.
yeah.
You know.
Remember we saw that in when we were in Oregon
Yeah,
as well.
all the
for
big hills and everything.
The sunstone.
Oh, yeah.
The ants brought those up as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's kind of unique, and whether that was how they discovered them, probably. Just a telltale sign when you see a red hill. Yeah, and like they said, when we were mining for the moonstone, same thing. The ant hills. You go out and look, and you see all these. They're actually light color. What would you call it? Pinkish or reddish, just much lighter color, but you could see obviously the anthills were not just normal soil.
Also, we had a question. What do you think's more rare, the pink-colored garnets or the gray spinel?
That's a tough question. Probably the garnets, because they're just, up to the last 7-8 years, they just didn't exist in very light colors like you're seeing out of Mahenge. As far as the gray spinel, I don't know what that's a tough thing to answer. There's not a lot of that material, but it's been available as I needed it for, but I've only been looking for it about the same time that the pink garnets have been available. So what the quantity is, I would probably put them on a similar type rarity.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I'm just gathering the questions for the end of the show. So.
Okay.
Tap
I
on your
think
head.
we still have a one stone left.
One stone. Final stone.
Last stone. Really another Portuguese cut. This one Linda also did. This wasn't going to be on the show just because I couldn't photograph it correctly. It's so deep a color that it just wouldn't photograph. but the color on it is remarkable. You know, it's just a beautiful, beautiful color that doesn't photograph. You know, it's not bad here. I just couldn't get it to show up in a photograph. And you can see some of the pleochroic colors, you know, more blue, more violet. You know, but this material really does cut a beautiful gem. This is from Bahia, Brazil again. You know, and somehow this ended up on the show and I didn't expect it to be there. Figured I was just going to mount it and sell it as a mounted piece. Only because the photography just didn't work as well as I'd like. Deeper colored stones are much more difficult to photograph. But it's a beauty. Price $725, $400 our price online. With the 15 off, it's $340 or $56 a carat.
Is that about the same size as the citrine?
Be pretty close.
Be a cool set.
Combination.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Kind of like the... Yeah, make it a little
Not sure if they're
yin-yang.
complementary colors.
Yeah,
but
purple and orange. Yeah. Well, there must be something about it because one turns into the other.
Beautiful gem.
And nice job, Linda. Great cutting.
Yeah, Linda does a great job. I think she's cutting another amethyst right
Yeah.
now.
Yep. She's got one on
Maybe
the
it's
top.
the
right now.
match to this one.
Yeah.
Or it's... All right, I think that's the last of the gems we have. And
I
we
think
got
so.
some questions or...
Yeah. Before we get into that, we kind of do this started doing it, but with the stones that are left, what are each of our choices that we are surprised it didn't sell?
Mm-hmm.
I could start since I've been looking at them.
Well, you're going to say the spinel.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
No,
it's a
no,
great
that-
spinel. Yep.
That was obvious, you know.
Yeah.
That spinel is awesome. I mean, for either a women's ring, my wife's got one that looks amazing in white gold with diamonds, just very clean. But because, and I wish I had my my ring with me, but that citrine I think is like the perfect size.
Yeah.
It'd be for a women's ring, but even a men's
Yeah.
ring. I think I just love that color. I love spessartite, and that one's not as bright as that one is. That's just amazing stone. I mean, we got my dad saw it. We got so many compliments on our ring at the Hong Kong show, even Tucson and the Bangkok.
Yeah, I don't know
show.
what I was wearing, but it was like a piece of crap next to you guys'
Yeah.
ring. Everybody picked your guys' ring out, and mine got no compliments. I
You
think
get
I had
this
a big
color,
tanzanite or
yeah,
something.
I mean,
yeah.
with a price too. I mean,
Yeah.
spessartite's gonna be a lot more, but
Yeah.
Spinel, of course, but I do love.
Yeah, those are
the
great
citrine.
colors. Yeah, that's why I'd like to cut more of it. And I have more this size. It's just, we'll have to cut them and mount them because there's just not much profit in cutting a loose stone like this. And, but mount it and then the mounting becomes profitable. Yeah, because I do love that color.
Yeah.
See what spessartite's done price-wise. Gone nuts. This is something that is remarkably similar.
Yeah, I don't think I would have ever thought about it until you made that ring, and then I saw it, and I'm like, holy, it's an incredible color. So.
And my pick would probably be this sapphire.
Is that the ice blue? I think?
Yeah.
Yes, or the cornflower? Is that what it is?
I don't. It's probably not cornflower.
Yeah, it's a pretty stone.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that trillion step. It looks like you got a brilliant style pavilion step cut
It
crown.
could be step cut.
Kind of looks like brilliant style.
And it's not heated, huh? Okay.
No.
But I don't know. Maybe you're right. See.
Yeah, we know what that step cut does.
Yeah,
So it's hard to cut anything else.
just the facet. Yeah, they looked sharper, but yeah, the step cut on a Trilliant, man, that's a winner.
Yeah, it's a step cut.
Ah, all right. And I guess what
Michael?
would mine be? I'll not pick one of my own stones.
You cut some amazing stone. That amethyst or the ametrine was really cool.
Oh, thanks, Jeff. Let's see. I would choose the tourmaline. Did this one sell? Or no?
Yeah, that's a great stone.
Did it sell or no?
No,
I
it
don't
had
think
to
it
have
did.
sold.
It didn't sell. Oh, yeah,
It
then
didn't
that
sell?
one for sure.
No,
yeah.
it did sell.
It did.
Oh,
yeah,
maybe it
I was
did.
gonna say I would have picked that.
Oh, okay.
because-
All right. Well, then I'm gonna pick mine. Yeah, I just
That
the
amethyst. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice amethyst. Really
Oh.
beauty.
I think that
Yeah,
one's
that'll mount into a piece. Just a great piece.
Yeah.
Just the right color, not too dark, and
good size too. It's not
Yeah.
huge, so yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
cool.
There are our picks. All right. So again, everyone, there's gonna be a big email going out to everybody tomorrow, pushing the stone. So if you do like anything, I would pick it up tonight or early tomorrow morning. Remember, we do have 30-day returns. Tomorrow, you can also, if the stone's available, you can put it on hold or you can put it on layaway as well. Again, we have 6-month layaway. You just got to put 20% down. And if you purchase a stone, a lot of people have already done this. Email us right afterwards. You can hit subscribe if you want to be notified of future shows. So make sure hit subscribe, hit that bell. And you'll be notified of every new show or all the new stones we post as well. We put the videos on YouTube. But yes, so if you want to put something on layaway tomorrow, you can. And on 20% down, that grabs that stone before anybody else purchases it. And then some people like us to ship the stone to them. Others want us to hold on to the stone and then work with Alice and Chris to design a piece around that stone. So that's what our expertise is in, and we'd love to create something for you. Outside of that, if the last, I know there's probably 60 or 70 people still watching. If you get that thumbs up for us, we love that. That really helps us keep this going. We do appreciate it. We did have a question. We got a couple questions here. Slytherin, I don't know if that's supposed to be close to Slytherin from Harry Potter, but if he was going to buy a gem, I guess not from us, and he was going to go with his loop, how would he know if something is I'm guessing this is depending on the stone, but a real stone versus synthetic or glass?
No way until you get it.
Yeah.
If you're looking at something online, I would.
In person. He goes to a show,
okay.
maybe.
Well, it depends what you're looking at. I mean, there are tools. For $100, you can buy a refractometer. If it's a faceted gem, it'll ID 90% of anything. It won't ID synthetics, man-made like sapphires, or it's not going to separate those. So it depends on the stone. Some things are going to be very, very difficult. Anything that has a synthetic becomes much more difficult to identify, like sapphires, rubies, diamond. Identifying a synthetic is often a job for a lab. Some synthetics we can separate, some we have difficulty with. So there's a lot of difficulties. It's a trust thing in who you're buying from. So not easy. I mean, if you can let me know what the stone is, and I can lead you better as far as how to identify something. If it's somebody that you don't have trust in, it is a great risk. It is hard to, I bought stones I thought were real overseas, and when you don't have the equipment to do the identification, sometimes you need microscope, you need bigger equipment that you can't carry with you. So you're trusting your eye. And my eye, personally, I can probably hit 70% of everything just looking at it and go, yeah, that's right. But the other 30%, you need equipment to ID it, and trusting your supplier is a big thing. Once you deal with somebody for a long time, you have trust, and but we've still seen things. We saw things overseas that just blew me away. The tourmalines that we saw that were crystals that, man, if I would have bought them, but they turned out to be glass. Just somebody spent a lot of time getting the characteristics of a rough piece of tourmaline into these glass, and they did a remarkable job. I would have liked to have owned those just to show them to people and go, look at what somebody did, and made this look so much like something that would, it's a tourmaline. It's not a piece of glass. I would argue it, but it's easy. It's not a hard separation, tourmaline and glass, but when you're out in the field looking at it, and it's so remarkably like the real thing, you just generally take the risk and go, oh, buy that, as this person that showed it to us did, and found out later that it was not real. So a lot of risks out there. I see so much online that is just so bogus, and price is a big indicator. Price is a big indicator. The things eBay gets away with is just remarkable. Then eBay and
Etsy is a bad
Etsy. Oh, it's just, you're going to buy that 10-carat tanzanite for $99. It's genuine tanzanite. Yeah, really? I don't think so.
And people buy. That's why I don't. And I've complained to Etsy, because people have stolen our designs and our stones.
Yeah, we find our designs on there.
Yeah, it's and they won't do anything about it. I mean, they used to be more legit, I think, when they used to have like all handmade, crafted, made in the U.S. But then they just opened it up to everything.
They're just crooks.
Nothing's handmade anymore. I mean, some stuff is, but tons of it's overseas, not handmade and fake. And it's just it's terrible.
Yeah, it's there's no protection for you out there.
No.
So deal with somebody you trust is the big thing.
Yep.
So.
All right. I'm gonna flash this, and thank you, Martha. She picked up the citrine.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Martha. I took Jeffrey's advice.
Yeah. Listen to Jeffrey. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah,
Martha.
you'll love it. It's such a great stuff.
All right, another question. Matthew, have you recently seen garnets that have the alexandrite-like effect with color change greenish to red? Would that only be under incandescent light, which is from lighter flame and sun, maybe? Thoughts?
I'm a lighter.
Well, the color change, which used to be more available, I think, did we sell our last one? I don't know if we.
I think we
sold
still
that
have
yet.
no. I'm pretty sure we still have one left.
Yeah, they're just exceedingly rare. The red only shows an incandescent, and it's usually
or a lighter,
violet or a lighter.
Yeah.
If you,
Well, that's what he mentioned. Yeah, I mean,
oh,
it does.
okay. Yeah. Lighter does the same thing. Incandescent light, maybe even better.
Daylight will be the other color though. That'll be the green or the blue green
typically, or but very, very rare gems. The better the color changes from reddish to greenish. Typically they're violet red and bluish green would be the best of the material out there typically, but some form of greenish to reddish is ideal.
But you got to look out for it being overly dark, because a lot of that material is pretty dark.
Yeah, the best of it. We saw one recently that, man, the color change was remarkable when it was in bright light, and otherwise it was almost black. So the better color changes will be the darker stones.
But
you
they
find better color change in the color change like garnets or color change like sapphires? Or alexandrite like sapphires or garnets normally?
What?
Is there alexandrite like sapphire as well?
Yeah.
Am I confusing things a little bit?
I know there's synthetics out there that imitate that type of change. And I don't know how available there are any sapphires that go from green to
Maybe I'm confusing
red.
with something else. I do remember.
It exists, but Alexandrite like color changes, the red-green color change.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I love it in garnet, but again, a lot of them are overly dark and so little available these days.
I remember probably when I worked here about 20 plus years ago, you had a large one. I remember it was just amazing, the color change.
Yeah, it was easier back then,
Yeah.
because Achille in Madagascar was producing and just not producing these days. Most of the materials out of Kenya, some out of Tanzania. Color changes aren't as good. They're nice stones, and even those sources are pretty much dried up.
Okay. That's all the questions.
That's it?
Yep.
All right. That's going to do it for us tonight. I'm Steve Moriarty, and with my sons, Michael and Jeffrey.
Good night, everybody.
Keep on gemming.
Let's go, live, the stage is set. Rare gemstones you won't forget. Colors so bold, they steal